Easter, for all its lace and lilies, never stopped being a ceremony of the flesh, a celebration of blood, sex, and the ultimate aspiration, the return. It cracks open each year, just enough to let the older story bleed through. And the rabbit, it never stopped watching. It just got better at hiding.
Eerie Aquarium has warned you. Subliminal haunting is our game.
I still remember the first time I truly saw it. Not the cheerful pastels and chocolate, but the strangeness underneath. A rabbit, grotesquely oversized, looming in the pre-dawn mist. Eggs hidden like secrets, tucked into the corners of our waking world. And children taught to hunt them, tokens left behind by a thing that enters their homes while they sleep. There's a term for that, but we call it tradition. What ancient madness have we domesticated? What unnamed practice survives beneath the tissue paper wrappings of spring? Listen closely enough, and the story doesn't begin in a garden tomb. It begins in Mesopotamia, in the temples of Inanna, Queen of Heaven, goddess of war, sex, and resurrection. Her rites were not sermons. They were ecstatic, carnal, soaked in blood and renewal. The hare and the egg, now sold in foil and plastic, were her sacred symbols. Symbols that once dripped with meaning. The Greeks and Romans understood this too well to forget. They celebrated spring through Cybele and Attis, her young consort. Attis, who, dare I say, fixed himself in a frenzy beneath a pine tree. His blood feeding the soil, his death marking the cycle. And 3 days later, yes, 3, they claimed he rose again. The rituals were theatrical, violent, and beautiful. Decorated trees, bloodletting, ritual feasting. When Christianity made its march across Europe, these ceremonies refused to die. And so they were not destroyed. They were absorbed, overwritten, rescripted. Christ's resurrection was slotted neatly over old gods, like a mask that fits too well. But some symbols resisted translation. The rabbit, for instance. Sacred to the Germanic goddess Eostra, yes, Easter's namesake, the hare could not be biblically explained. The myth tells of birds turned into egg-laying hares, of shape-shifting fertility spirits, of liminal, more than sensual divinities that were neither this nor that, not quite animal, not quite safe. So we trimmed the myth into something palatable. In 1600s, Germany, the Osterhase arrived, a supernatural hare who judged children's virtue and distributed coloured eggs. A myth of surveillance, control, conditioning. Centuries before Elf on the Shelf, the hare taught our children to accept intrusion, to smile at it. We rarely look closely at the rituals we reenact, but let's try. We tell children that while they sleep, something enters their home, hides fertility tokens in the dark. Then we dress them as the very creature they're meant to fear and adore. We hand them chocolate versions of the sacred animal, and they devour it, ears first, always the ears, as if silencing it, as if reclaiming power. And the eggs, their shape isn't arbitrary. During Lent, medieval Christians abstained from eggs. 40 days of denied fertility. Easter morning was not just resurrection, It was release. The Orthodox still dye their eggs red, not pink, not blue. Red, like blood. And our plastic eggs, split, filled, rejoined, they mimic something else entirely. The body, the womb, opened, offered, snapped shut again. It's all there, humming beneath the packaging. Why do we do this? Maybe it's not belief, but memory. Something older than scripture, something carved into the marrow. The spring equinox stirs the unconscious, where the myths are stored, where we remember we are animals, that death cycles, that resurrection must be earned. Each Easter sunrise, as we stumble across treasures planted in the grass, a part of us shivers, not from the chill, but from recognition. Something in us remembers that once this was not a holiday, it was a ritual, and it still is.